Hey guys, this is Nick with PhoneArena, and the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 is one of the hottest Android phones right now. The attention it is getting is well deserved, since it's a great phone with a beautiful display, powerful specs, and tons of useful features. However, the same can be said about LG's flagship, the LG G3, which has what to stand out with in terms of design and specifications. This calls for a comparison, so let's see which is the better phone overall. Let's start with design. The Samsung Galaxy Note 4 looks and feels familiar with its flat rectangular shape. The back cover may be made of plastic, but on its surface we have the leather-like finish introduced by last year's model. It may be somewhat plasticky to the touch, but it looks quite nice and it's highly resistant to fingerprints. Around the sides we have a solid metal frame with beveled edges, which contributes to the phone's sophisticated appearance. No shortcuts have been made here, as the buttons are also made of metal. And here is the LG G3, which is also a very attractive phone. The finish of its surface is smooth to the touch, but not too slippery, and retains no fingerprints whatsoever. A touch is enough to tell that the sides and back cover of the phone are made of plastic, but the brushed metal look of the surface looks quite fancy. So all in all, both phones have something to stand out with when it comes to design, and would say that both are worthy of attention. Thanks to its slightly curved shape, the LG G3 is more comfortable to hold than the Galaxy Note 4. Of course, given the sizes of both phones, it goes without saying that single-handed use can be a challenge. Carrying either in a tight pocket is also a tricky business. In this respect, the LG G3 has a slight advantage, as it is not as tall as the Note 4. Below the screen of the Galaxy Note 4 we find Samsung's trademark button layout with a hardware home key in the middle and capacitive buttons for the recent apps and back functions. It is a tried and tested design feature that gets the job done. The power and volume keys are on their usual spots. They have excellent feedback and they're very easy to locate with a thumb. The LG G3 takes a totally different approach to button design. First of all, the phone uses on-screen buttons instead of physical ones. These hide when there is an application requesting the entire screen area, which is great because you can use as much screen space as possible, but then you have to swipe up to bring the keys back, which isn't as cool. In addition to that, the power and volume keys are on the back of the phone. Not a bad solution at all, but it takes some time to get used to it. And now a few words about the standout features that you get with the Galaxy Note 4. For starters, here is the S Pen stylus, which can be useful in those times when you need to take down a quick note, or for navigating through the home screen and applications. There is also the fingerprint scanner embedded in the home button. It is used to lock the phone, to secure personal data, and to authorize payments. The scanner may not be the most convenient one ever placed on a phone, but it is better to have one in some form than not having a scanner at all. On the back of the phone we find a heart rate monitor that can measure your pulse, and an ultraviolet sensor designed to measure the sun's intensity. The LG G3 does not have any of these extras, but we don't think that's too big of a deal. Of course, they give the Note 4 some advantage over the G3, but we are pretty sure that some people would never actually need any of these features. If there is one thing that both the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 and the LG G3 have a lot of, that's screen space. There is a 5.7-inch Super AMOLED panel on the Note 4, while the G3 packs a 5.5-inch IPS LCD display. This makes the Galaxy Note 4 slightly more spacious, but since both handsets are pretty large already, a difference of 0.2 inches is pretty much insignificant. The two screens have the same jaw-dropping resolution of 1440 by 2560 pixels, which produces pixel densities of over 500 ppi. This makes it virtually impossible for the naked eye to spot any pixelation without looking at the screen under a magnifying glass. As a result, high-resolution graphics displayed on either screen look really nice and detailed. Colors on the Galaxy Note 4's display are extremely accurate, but only when the display is set in the so-called basic mode. If you prefer, you may have the phone adjust its display automatically by leaving it in the adaptive mode. In that case, colors will have the typical for AMOLED panels saturation boost. The IPS LCD display on the LG G3 produces colors with slightly pumped up saturation. Our measurements confirm that the Note 4 in basic mode has the more accurate colors. Currently, both the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 and the LG G3 run Android 4.4 KitKat, and we're hoping they will be updated to 5.0 Lollipop in the coming months. Unsurprisingly, with both phones, the stock interface has been dropped in favor of a custom one. This is TouchWiz on the Galaxy Note 4. It is packed with more features than ever without forgetting about those we knew from the previous Note generation, including the option to run two applications side by side, to customize the application drawer, and to control the phone's settings using the buttons placed in the notification panel. To stay on top of the latest news, we have My Magazine, and the S-Health application acts as your personal health and fitness assistant. On the LG G3 we find a custom interface that is also loaded with plenty of goodies. For example, this is Knock Code, which is a security feature that can be used to replace your lock screen PIN or password. Also, like the Galaxy Note 4, LG's flagship can run two applications side by side. If you are into customization, you'll be happy to know that LG gives you the freedom to apply and download user interface themes. At the same time, we find LG's user interface simpler and less distracting than the flashy and colorful TouchWiz. To make single-handed usage easier, the LG G3 lets you squeeze the on-screen keyboard to the side of the screen. Also, you may enable this button that brings down the whole notification panel instantly. The Galaxy Note 4, however, takes things a step further. Using a simple gesture, you enable a mode that shrinks the entire user interface to a fraction of its size and brings it closer to your thumb. Samsung's on-screen keyboard is pretty easy to use with two thumbs since it is wide and spacious, with an extra row on top for the numbers and predictive text that learns from your input. But we are a bit happier with LG's keyboard. Its size can be adjusted and word predictions are easier to select with a swipe up. Now let's talk about hardware. Inside the Galaxy Note 4 we find Qualcomm's most powerful commercially available chip so far, the Snapdragon 805. It has a quad-core CPU with a maximum clock speed of 2.7 GHz and 3 GB of RAM ensures smooth switching between applications. Inside the LG G3, there is a slightly slower Snapdragon 801 with a 2.5 GHz quad-core CPU and a less powerful GPU alongside 3 GB of RAM. On one hand, the gap in performance between the two chips isn't vast, both phones can run even the latest games and heaviest applications just fine. But on the other hand, the LG G3 has a harder time running software at such high display resolution. That's why you might notice lags in the user interface from time to time. And here we are browsing the web on the Galaxy Note 4. This is the default browser, which has a stock feel but adds a navigation bar at the bottom. Of course, you are free to use Chrome or a different web browser. Either way, you'll be enjoying a great experience with smooth and responsive navigation. The stock web browser on the G3 behaves the same way, with smooth scrolling and zooming, so no matter which phone you pick, you won't be disappointed with its web browsing abilities. On the back of the Galaxy Note 4 there is a 16-megapixel camera and a single LED flash. Thankfully, Samsung has added optical image stabilization to its camera, which comes in handy when you're shooting at night or when you're taking videos. The LG G3 seems a bit less capable on paper with its 13-megapixel camera and a smaller sensor, but it has a few tricks up its sleeve as well, such as optical image stabilization and a laser-assisted focusing system for extremely fast autofocus. Also, the dual-tone LED flash produces more natural light for your low-light photos. Looking at images from both phones side by side, we can conclude that the Galaxy Note 4 is the better camera. When you zoom in on photos, there is much more detail to be seen, and as far as color goes, the Galaxy Note 4 balances colors better, while the G3 occasionally produces slightly colder photos. In low light, the Note 4 once again has the upper hand, especially when it comes to color reproduction. But when a flash is used, the LG G3 illuminates the scene better with its dual-tone LED flash. The music players on both phones are pretty similar in terms of layout and functionality. Music is organized in tabs, playback can be controlled from the lock screen, and equalizer settings let you adjust the sound to your liking. An advantage for the G3 is its support for high-resolution audio and the ability to stream music from a cloud service such as Dropbox. On the other hand, the Galaxy Note 4 offers a wider selection of music adjustments and sound effects. Both phones come with single built-in loudspeakers. They are loud, but since sound quality is mediocre at best, we cannot recommend them for music listening. Both phones have infrared blasters, which allows them to work as universal remote controls. The Note 4 and the G3 can control your TV or set-top box after a quick configuration process. When it comes to call quality, both phones sound great during calls. The Galaxy Note 4 has a loud earpiece producing clear audio. We are no less satisfied with the performance of its microphone. The LG G3 also comes with a very loud earpiece. Its microphone easily picks up your voice and delivers it undistorted to the other side of the line. The Galaxy Note 4 has a removable battery that can hold about 3200 mAh of charge. Inside the LG G3 we find a slightly smaller removable battery with a capacity of 3000 mAh. We tested both of them using our battery benchmark. Out of the Galaxy Note 4 we got a great result of 8 hours and 43 minutes of use time. Under the exact same conditions, the LG G3 achieved only 6 hours and 14 minutes. So, as much as we like the LG G3, we have to admit that the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 is the better phone. It isn't leading by a mile, but it is a step ahead of the G3 in a number of key areas, including processing power, display quality, and camera performance. The display on the Note 4 is adjustable, so you can enjoy highly accurate or vibrant and punchy colors, depending on which mode you prefer. The screen on the G3 is equally detailed, but leaves room for improvement when it comes to color accuracy. In terms of hardware specifications, both phones possess a lot of processing power, but the Note 4 is better at handling the high resolution of its display, while the G3 has a bit of a hard time pushing all those pixels around. And if you demand a phone with a great camera, then the Galaxy Note 4 will suit your needs much better. Of course, the G3 has a great 13-megapixel camera that gets the job done, but the Note 4 is even better with its 16-megapixel camera. However, the G3 has one key advantage. It is more affordable than the Galaxy Note 4. So if your budget is tight, then the LG G3 is the phone you should consider getting. Thank you for watching our comparison between the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 and the LG G3. For more of our reviews and comparisons, just visit our website phonearena.com.